G'day, I'm Ben from Cash Pro Australia, and this is Lawn Care Skull Sessions with my co-host, the Bearded Lawnsman. BJ, what's going on? How are you?
Good, my brother. What is happening?
Little bit of everything. Website came back.
Yay!
So that was alright.
Yeah, that's wild, eh?
It was, it was pretty shit. Anyway, buddy, you can't trip on all of that stuff.
Do a bit of this, bit of that, a little bit of extracurricular work. I mean, that's literally like cuts you off, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, I mean, I just, honestly, I was just working in my yard.
Yeah, fair enough.
And like so it was only really one day.
Yeah.
The biggest issue was that people could Google my phone number. And so I was just on the phone all day, and it just felt counterproductive because you can't do any business without a website.
You should have just changed your, hey, this is Ben from Catch Pro to, hi, this is Ben from Catch Pro. Sorry, I can't answer the phone right now. It seems our website is down. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Don't leave a message. Just buy something and then we'll fucking send it to you.
I'll tell you what's funny about that. I don't actually have a voicemail on here.
What?
I've got a new phone, and it's like, I can't put a voicemail message on there. People can leave me a voicemail, but I don't have a greeting.
I have to admit, I didn't change mine. Because I changed business names from the Bearded Lawnsman to TBL Property Maintenance. Fucking took me like 6 months to change it from the Bearded Lawnsman to TBL Property Maintenance.
It's not like you ring yourself every day to check up on your greeting.
Yeah, it was my wife who actually was like, you probably should change that. She told me at like week 1, 2, 3, all the way through to 6 months, but
fair enough.
I got there in the end.
Now, onto some industry talk. I've been having some mad feedback last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
It always takes a while to trickle in, but everyone's loving the proposal episode.
Yeah, actually, I directed someone called me for he's doing 99 village unit complex down my way, actually, and he called me, and we had a chat, and I said, have you gotten to the proposal side of fucking podcast? And he's like, not yet, I think it was on like 25. I'm like, oh, you got a long way to go. I'd skip ahead to that one, mate.
He's not even at Christmas yet.
No, exactly. That's Sean, man. He's a good dude. We catch up at the dump, have a cuddle. But hopefully he knocks it on the head. I did tell him, I said, I'm going away on holidays this Friday. So if you fucking need any help, you've got to get him before then. I even said I'd go with him to give him a hand to quote it. So if he really needed it.
Speaking of holidays, as everyone's listening to this, BJ's going to be touching down in where?
Oh, so we're going to be touching down. I think we're going to be in Nashville by now.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, hopefully I've got fucking a big fucking rib in my mouth, a couple of beers, a couple of kisses from bloody Scotty Osborne. So I'm going to try and catch up with
Scotty the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm going to catch up with Paul Sheenan over there. Baz from Ego.
Are you guys going to try and recruit him to Skag?
Nah, I just want a kiss.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be awesome. Everyone that is listening to this right now, remember to follow the Bearded Lawnsman. That's TBL on Instagram. He's going to be documenting the whole trip. We will also probably be releasing bits and pieces here and there, but we won't actually be there.
Now, there is a possibility that I can get on to a little podcast chatty thing with Dennis from Skag. So he's the OG, the big boss there, and Rob's told him that he needs to put an hour aside for me. So that's pretty cool. And I think that'll be when we go to look at the factory where everything's done. But
lots of cool stuff ahead.
Yeah, Kenny Morris.
From
Stripe Life. He said that he's going to be at the Gravely or the Hustler booths. He's given me the dates where he is, and
he's giving away a mower too.
Well, he said he's going to keep the good shit and maybe throw me something. So that'd be nice. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah. Lots and lots of cool stuff.
So there's one dude over there that I see on Instagram, and he's a bit of a party animal. And I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, you going? He's like, I'm going to try to get there. I'm like, we should connect.
Yeah.
And then he didn't write back. He was like, yeah, maybe. I was like, oh, shit, that's a no.
Yeah, well, see how we go.
I think I'm going to be doing enough partying. So
okay, so we have a couple. I think we got 2 new reviews. If you want to take the flow.
So this one's from Paul, and it is a 5-star for the proposals episode. So he said this would have to be the best episode yet, revealing so much information a Google search won't provide. This is going to give so many new starters a massive leg up. Keep up the good work, boys. That's awesome. Thank you, sir. Aussie Dobbo. So that's another 5-star. Enjoyed listening. I hope you continue to enjoy. Enjoyed listening to your podcast. Love using the lawnmower wheel locker that I purchased on Catch Road. Yo! So that's our reviews for this week. We got 110 5-star ratings now.
Hell yeah! Also, just want to give a shout out and props to our mate Rubes up north.
Yeah.
He didn't leave a review, but he did leave a comment on a thread. Saying that he really enjoyed the proposal episode. He said it was, not anything that he thought, business wise, is not what he does.
Yeah.
But he found it really interesting, which is really cool.
Now, something else that's exciting. Last week I touched on it. We've been working together. I've been working together with Muscle Beard Australia for forever, for like 2 years now. I use their products every day religiously. That's no shit, no gimmick or anything. I love their products. They have just given us a skull code. So if you use the same code as Bad Workwear, so all in caps skull on the Muscle Beard Australia website, it's www.musclebeardaustralia.com.au. You'll get 10% off at the checkout, and we'll get a little bit of chinga in the pocket for that. So it's actually like their products are on point, and it's not just for beards. They have shampoo there that I've never had to use since they're on board as fuck. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to do a interactive podcast today based around the LMCA community, just because it's great, when they all chime in, and sometimes we get a bit of banter, which is cool. But it's very much the voice of the people.
It is. We so Benny posted something on Sunday night, was it?
Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah.
So there's a bunch of comments on there, and this topic is pretty much about brand loyalty and where people sort of feel that becomes important, or if it's even important to them at all. So there was a bit of a mixed review, wasn't there? There was
was a little bit, but that's what we love, because look, there's certain people that see things from a whole different light.
Yeah.
People like you and me, when we see stuff like this and when we talk about stuff like this, from an ambassador's point or from, Cash Pro's point or whatever, it's much different to an everyday consumer.
Yeah.
When we talk about brand loyalty, I think the dealers come into it a lot.
Yep.
I didn't mention them in the post, but there's so many comments about it, and I also think that's fantastic and worth talking about. I think what we'll do, we'll probably read these comments, and obviously we'll be chiming in.
Yeah.
But before we get there, we might just weigh up some of these positives and negatives. So, I think if you can find a brand that works really well for you, the major benefits, what are we talking? Like if you absolutely love your still whippersnippers or combi units, whatever, the reason why it's fantastic, for example, if you stick to that brand, is you're always going to have spare parts.
Yeah.
That's it. Filters, attachments, coils, still
just everything.
Yeah, it's still a huge for coils.
Yeah.
So, I think there are reasons why it makes sense.
Yeah.
Same as everyone that was running Honda, push or self-propelled mowers.
Took the words right out of my mouth. All I think is Craig Burrows.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I was this person. Like, fucking Rusty or someone would come home. Oh fuck, the wheel's fucked. Hey, I fucking got tons. Because you strip down those machines when they fuck out. So I think they are a lot of reasons why it makes sense to find. you don't have to put the label loyal on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, essentially, that's what it becomes.
Yeah.
But
for me personally, I've found, so with my zero turns, I've had a few brands. I haven't tried everything, but I found what works for me in zero turns and standards. So that's me. I'm Skag all the way. They work for me. They've helped me grow my. You know what? Before we go too much further, almost touch on the penis then.
you'd have to go up a little higher to get there.
Oh, don't be so coy. So in the last year, we've done a full doubling of our business.
Yeah, nice.
So we just worked that out. And
it's nice to know that you're not a poser too, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
You got this podcast, you're an ambassador, but at the same time, your business has grown tenfold.
Huge. It's crazy, and like it just I don't know. It just is. It means that the reward is there. Like I can just see it in front of me. I'm like, whoa.
You know, like people are probably thinking in their head like, oh, this Ben from Catch Pro, he's a poser. You know, he's not on the tools anymore. Rah. And I mean, it is true in the sense that I'm not on the tools, but I mean, I started Catch Pro legitimately because I just couldn't do the daily grind anymore.
Yeah.
I had reached my ceiling.
Yeah. Now, did you, when your website went down, did you get a little bit panicky and think, yeah?
Absolutely. And it hasn't been fantastic a whole week later. Like, we're down relative to other months.
Yeah.
Some people that are the casual buyer would just be like, oh, this website's down, I'll just get me blades somewhere else, or I'll get my, whatever. And so when the website did come back, we had a huge day, no matter what. Like we had a huge day, but I would suggest that probably 30 or 40% of potential clients never came back. That's based on what we would have done over, say, a 4-day window compared to what we did in that 4-day window.
Yeah.
But I mean, nevertheless, like you just have these things in business.
Just got to have more faith in yourself, mate.
The worst thing is that it was actually all related back to Josh.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was something with the DNS. And it's way deep in the back end, but it's like where everything connects. All your emails are stored, everything's stored. And when he set it up, he used a third-party provider, and obviously that just expired.
Oh, fuck.
And so we didn't know what the problem was for ages.
That's so frustrating. Sorry to get off topic there. So in regards to my zero turns, I'm all Skag. Push mowers, I've got Skag and I've got Bush Ranger. Skag works perfect for me on my big bits and pieces. The 21-inch self-propelled for the little. It's I actually am really enjoying the Bush Ranger self-propelled mowers. They're not bad at all. I like them. And then I moved to my hand tools. Now I'm a slut. Like
And but before you go any further, I do want to say that we work with some of these brands. Yeah. So some of this stuff is difficult.
Exactly.
So we've done some work with Ego. We've done some work with Bush Ranger. You have some Husky stuff.
Yeah.
You got some old school Shindewa stuff.
Yeah, I got some.
I think you're even running some still stuff at the village, right?
Yeah. So I've got
horses for courses.
Yeah. So I've just got bits and pieces of everything, just to find out. Like realistically, the snippers, I'm really interested to find out which one I like the most. I've always loved the Shindewa, and the closest thing I found to the Shindewa was the Bush Ranger, in feel and in like power and things like that.
And realistically, that's what, like Bush Ranger, they really marketed and built their whippersnippers to be like a Shindewa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not a secret.
No.
So years and years ago, they had the distribution for Shindewa, and they were doing the most ridiculous numbers. And it was taken off them for political reasons, and it really fucked the brand in Australia.
Yeah. Now, the other day, I bought a Bushy and a Husky. Now, people straight away were onto me because I was like, oh, I'm comparing a heap of machines. Like, I'm not going to be like dissing any machines because all of the machines are different. They all have different price points. Now, heaps of people jumped on and they're like, yeah, the Husky's the best. Bro, for fucking $200 more than the Bushranger, it better be fucking better. Now, I've spoken to the boys. I've used them both for about an hour each, and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of, like, they're both kind of, like, they're not, you know when you grab something and you're like, oh, that's different. They kind of feel familiar, because the Shindaiwa, like, I've already got a 301 bushy, so Shindaiwa's got a fucking, an anti-mount handle. But, you know, I'm not as loyal with the hand tools because they don't cost as much.
Yeah,
I can be a bit of a slut and I can find what I really like and find what works for us.
I still think it's great for people to be loyal once they've found something that works.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, that might take 4 years.
And that's the thing, like, how do you know if you start your business? So I started my business with Shindaiwa and I thought I was going to finish my business with Shindaiwa, but
the product has changed.
The product changed, and pretty much
stock and dealerships like COVID.
Yeah, heaps of different factors.
I think
I went on and found comparable machines. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what's funny about that no one really knows is BJ legitimately bought those machines.
Oh yeah.
And I think I was probably one of the first people to get in contact with you and say, you know, if you wanted a Bushranger machine, I probably could have got you one.
Yeah. I was like, you're about fucking 5 hours late.
You know, so
just paid the fucking bill.
Couldn't help you out with the Husky. I could probably help you out with the Bushy.
Yeah, well, I think I'm hopefully going to finally get a hookup from Husky for a bit of a demo, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, so we might so essentially some of the questions that we asked is, does everyone like to stick to one brand? Is there particular brands that excel in certain markets and tools, products / so what I mean by that is, I know when I was running Greenscape Solutions many years before Cash Pro existed at anything, I was typically one of those dudes where, like, all my mowers were Honda, all my whippersnippers were Shindaiwa, but if I ever bought a chainsaw, it was a Stihl.
Yeah.
And so what we mean by, do certain brands excel in different markets, you would, even if someone gave me a Honda whippersnipper, I just wouldn't fucking use it.
I gave you one.
Yeah.
And it just sat in your garden for fucking...
Honda, look, they make awesome products, but I just got no time for the handheld shit.
It's so heavy.
I did have a pretty cool Shindaiwa chainsaw at one point. I didn't pay for it. I inherited with, like, a business that I bought. But, it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, and it's strange too.
It's like pole saws.
Yeah.
Lots of dudes will just either use Stihl or Husky.
Yeah. It's funny too, like, some brands just fade away into the background, and, like, you randomly see one or two items at a like Tanaka. Tanaka's slowly just, when I first started, you were still running Tanaka.
Yeah, so years and years ago, and I think it was just a Brisbane thing, but everyone had a Tanaka hedge trimmer.
Yeah.
Like a handheld.
Well, Danny from Southside still got a Tanaka blower, hand blower.
Yeah, it's just not what used to be all Japanese and good shit, and it's just not what it was. But mate, I had a Tanaka snipper back in the day that, like, I couldn't kill it. I think it even went through 2 or 3. I think I owned it, and when I worked for Shorey, I used it there. But when I left, because I quit, I didn't take it with me.
Oh, okay.
And then we kind of made up, and a year or two went past, and I bought the business. I got me Bipper Dipper back.
Hey, look at
And then I think, maybe for years, because they all ran the same.
Yeah, same shaft.
The same spline and everything. So I think for years then we just ran it as a pole saw. So we had heaps of, Frank and Bips and all sorts of shit going on. So we, some other questions. Do you prefer to mix and match brands? Is branding irrelevant? Now we've got some interesting comments. We might chime in when we get there.
Yeah.
So without further ado, should we get amongst it? I'm going to put this here. Are you able to read from that position?
Yeah.
So first comment is from Dale, and he said he's brand loyal. He's a Skag still in a Zuzu man. And look, he has a pretty big business, and
he does.
He's a Skag guy through and through.
He is. Really is. Yeah.
So in terms of zero turns, mate, I mean, I know I'm probably the exception, but if I still had a business, and this is taking everything into account, I just feel like these days I would want to buy one of everything.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to have a Ferris, I'd love to have a ride, I've got my Skag, I love the bush range. Like, I would love to try all of these machines.
Yeah.
I think
because it's such a big purchase price, I think if you find something that works for you, that's why like people are quite brand loyal when it comes to big purchases. That's how I feel in my business anyway. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I love my Skags, they do what I need them to do, and they do it really well.
I think no matter what, the smartest decision, like business decision, is to keep them all the same.
Yeah.
There might be some brands that struggle, you know, in terms of lineups.
Yeah.
You have one extreme, let's say Skag, you're really not going to get anything under 10 grand. The other extreme is like, let's use Cub Cadet for example. You're not going to get anything really that can be compared to even your third model down Skag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, some brands might be difficult. So nonetheless, we have Wilson Alexander. He said, I've always stuck with Honda mowers for that, you know, brand side of things, and have always treated me well, but time for a change soon with some very small and annoying issues that he's experiencing. Snipper and small hand tool wise, I'm now brand loyal as Ego has been unreal.
Yeah, nice.
And I think anytime you look at a battery, anytime battery comes into the equation, you gotta stick to one brand.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, slut. I've got Husky, Bush Ranger, Ego, Still. What have I missed? I just haven't got the power.
So you're probably running half of the brands that are out there.
So again, that was, you know, that's on me. I made that decision because I wanted to know. Like, so many people ask me about different brands, and I'm like, well, fucking, this is what I know about this, and
in regards to battery, like Monster Mowing, he's been kicked off LMCA. He's still in Aussie Lawn Stars, but he's a big Milwaukee guy.
Yeah.
And check out his Instagram. I don't know, like he must have dropped like a fucking, seriously, he had his ute and trailer and there was fucking Milwaukee boxes everywhere. But he messaged me and he said, there's going to be fuck all stock coming into these Milwaukee battery mowers.
Is that a new model?
Possibly, I'm not sure. But I mean, look, my response was like, hey man, I'd love to try one, but realistically, fucking, I'm not buying one.
No.
And it's not got anything to do with anything except for the fact, like, I'm done buying mowers.
Yeah.
Bush mowers.
Yeah.
So if Milwaukee were like, oh, because I just converted to Milwaukee and I bought a heap of hand tools.
Yeah.
So I could get away with just buying a skin, but I just, number one, push mowing. Number two, spending money.
Yeah.
So we have a message here from Babyface.
Babyface Anthony. Yeah. Yeah, me goring is the best instant noodle and you can't change my mind. Thanks, Anthony. Always, important, relevant information from you, sir.
Well done for your contribution. There is actually 7 replies. Should we start getting amongst some of these replies? Yeah. So Russell Newman says it's a 1+ for him.
Nice. Yeah. There's Tiffany Sullivan. Absolutely.
By the way, Tiff, I hope your situation's going good out there.
Yes. 100%.
Turtle
Being half Asian, I totally agree with you.
Nanky Panky.
Nanky, I remember at school camp a while back, even the Arabic kid in my house was going through 2 to 3 packs a day with us.
It's funny how Nanky says a while back when I was at school, when it was probably last year.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And then we have
Tim
Samuel without question. Humongous. Migoranga's Life. 5 packets in one sitting.
Yeah. Does everyone put the hot sauce, like the chili sauce in?
We're still fucking going.
Oh my god.
Chris Weir, egg on top, medium rare porterhouse, and so whoa.
Fuck, yeah, that's how if we have leftover steak, I'm all about that life.
Rubes comes in, never heard of it, you got to pick. Andrew French.
What the fuck?
Home brand is better.
That, dude.
Alright, we could be possibly getting to some real comments now. Matthew says, I'm a brand slut, I'll use whatever I think is the best option. I've got Honda Still, Husky, Victor, and Hustler machines. Got my eye on several others too. So, I mean, I don't think... See, what's tough about this conversation is, in the last 4 years, brands have evolved and come to market that weren't around. So, Skag's been around forever, but let's face it, 4 years ago, nobody knew who the fuck they were in Australia.
Really,
it's true.
Really, there might have been like a bit of a Melbourne crew, but...
I mean, they went from selling, and I don't know the real stats, but it was something like dismal, like 30 to 50 machines a year to 30 to 50 containers.
Ridiculous amounts of mowers. Yeah.
Right mowers, same thing. They have always had a distributor here, but no one has ever really fucking had one.
Yeah.
Bushranger never existed.
Yeah.
You know, much more than 5 years ago.
And you didn't really see much of the Weebang stuff coming in to country. Like there's, Weebang,
we always had the Japanese stuff. Like we always had your Shindaiwa, Tanaka, Kawasaki, we always had all of that.
Yeah.
And you didn't have brands like Ego.
I think brand loyalty is going to become a lot bigger when battery makes a bigger push. Like I know it's huge at the moment, but I think once it's, when laws start changing, noise restrictions, shit like that, because it really is a pain in the ball sack having 15 different chargers going.
It's dumb as fuck and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Thanks.
Babyface is back.
Oh, Jesus.
What's he say, BJ?
Not a brando, but I've decided to stick with Husky snippers, so all the gear looks uniform and orange. And on the on the trailer to suit my mighty Skag. Yeah, fair enough, dude, because there's nothing better than having everything uniform.
Yeah.
That's why I got the dry wraps. Put them on.
Oh yeah, I like when you see setups, and one thing that always comes to mind is, Corey Ballard with Perfy Cut.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is like still, and it's just like everything's kind of just uniform and presents probably a little better.
Still John Deere, all the vehicles painted the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Crazy.
Rob Mellor, now this is actually a Briggs & Stratton rep, and he said, be interesting to hear over the time period as technology changes. So, similar to your comment, now, for the people who aren't aware, Briggs & Stratton are the distributor for Shindaiwa and Echo, and they have new battery lines coming out.
They have some cool looking battery lines coming through.
Now, gotta admit,
but I don't know.
It has taken Briggs half a decade to get anything new in.
Yeah.
But, and it's not a result of this guy, Rob. I mean, he doesn't have any swing in that sense, but hopefully, they inherited a mess. When they took over. So
well, hopefully they found their feet now and they can actually start bringing in, because you never see.
Oh, mate, I mean, seriously, like you have to feel for some of these brands. They inherited a mess, and then 2 years later, COVID hits, and real nasty. So. Jake Long says, try to stick to a brand if I like it. However, I'll use what is best and works for me. When it comes to battery equipment, I'll stick to one brand as it's easier and neater in the long run. I'm not loyal to a particular brand. They all have their positives and negatives. Really cool, fair comment. I would say, though, if there was anything to point out there, like brands do have their positives and negatives, but there are some brands out there that don't really have that many negatives.
Not really. It's.
I'm not going to mention anything necessarily.
No,
I think it comes down to that product line.
Yeah.
Like, I never had anything bad to say about a steel chainsaw.
No. Oh, actually, I have. Yeah, I had a bad time with mine, but it is what it is. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. So we got Aaron Bennett. If it works, it's in the truck. If I don't, I've thrown it in a paddock somewhere and left it there. About the only brand I'm loyal to is my eyewear company. So that's pretty cool. I didn't think about safety glasses and shit like that. I mean, you would have brand loyal people. I'm loyal to Catch Pro.
Oh man, we got heaps of people who support us.
Yeah.
And you know, like they're obviously like-minded people, and they're kind of like, you know, if Catch Pro's bringing it out, there has to be a reason behind it.
Yeah.
And they can see how it works with them. I mean, you know, I don't expect a customer to buy every single thing that we have.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who's going to buy a USB port for a zero turn if their zero turn has one from factory? You know, so
just cause.
So we have Jeff here. He says, I have Shideva Husky, Mariama Still, Honda Hustler, Bush Ranger, Solo, Victor, Cox, Makita, and Hansa, and Ego.
Yeah.
All have their good and bad points. That's a shit ton of.
That's a lot.
Should we try and guess?
He doesn't have an atom. He just needs to put a measure in there.
Should we try and have a little just play around with this? So I reckon if he's got a Shindeva, it's a whippersnipper.
Yeah.
If he's got a Husky, what do you reckon that is? Maybe like a saw or a hedger?
I think it's either a hedger or a whippersnipper.
Okay, the Mariama, I'm calling the Mariama will be a blower.
I'm calling snipper.
Okay, now
I reckon he's got a lot of snippers.
you know why I said that about Mariama?
Why?
Because the Bush Ranger equipment is Mariama.
Yeah.
And most of it's blue. But the backpack blowers,
Have red.
are red.
Well, that's what I saw at Danny's. He's got both.
Yeah, so I said to Bush Ranger, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And you had to order like 10,000 units for them to be blue.
Oh.
Like, it might not have been that many, but
so
it was
that would have been
their
initial. That would have been their initial buy-in, but
no, they just don't stock. They're just not gonna commit to that amount.
So we're going to start seeing red Bush Ranger stuff because they would have bought in like a massive volume, and now they wouldn't have to buy in that bulk amount, or.
No, I think you'll see like you might see some red machines, but it probably won't have the Bush Ranger logo. It'd have Mariama.
Okay.
So
identical machines though.
But anyway, we're still going on this. So
yeah, what do we got? Still. I know my choice. Don't steal it.
A saw? Well, no.
I got backpack file. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking about that for the Mariama. That's cool. We don't have to agree.
No.
Honda, it's got to be the Mower. Hustler has to be a zero turn. Bush Ranger. I'm calling another push mower.
Yeah, me too.
Solo, it's got to be a sprayer. Victor.
It's
got to be a
mower. Yeah. I mean, Victor's got a battery range. Some people might fuck with it. I don't know. Cox. That's a mower.
Got to be a tractor.
Yeah. Makita.
Battery hedger.
Yeah. Hansa. Chipper. Ego. Who knows? They've got a bit of everything.
Now that I'm going through this, Jeff, if you're listening,
you have to tell us now.
I'm just, not only do you have to tell us, but mate, you're going to have to explain some shit.
Yeah.
This is full. How many fucking mowers are you going to have?
But maybe he's a Ego combi. That's what I'm going to say. He's got an Ego combi. Fuck, we didn't even... He could have a steel combi. I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't matter what it is, but it just seems like a lot of overlap. Anyway, Christopher, I'm brand loyal to Still for all my handhelds, but only because my local dealer will go above and beyond, as well as giving me discounts, free spare parts here and there. And I think this is, like a fantastic, reason why brand loyalty is a good thing, because you build rapport with the brand, you start building your spare parts behind you start, developing a relationship with the dealer. They look after you. Same way we look after Cash Pro people. Like, if people spend 10 grand with us and they come to us and say, like, oh, hey, can you tighten up the price on this? It's a fucking heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like, I'll consider that any day of the week. If someone rings me and says, oh, mate, what can you do on this? And they've never bought anything before and they want to get a whipper gripper, it's like, well, mate, we really can't.
Do for a pair of comfort trims?
We just... Yeah. You can't do fuck all.
Now, something with brand loyalty as well, you get to be very, very in touch with those machines. If you...
Oh, I love this topic.
Yeah, so...
What are you fucking talking about?
So if you use the same machine year in, year out, you will get to know when and, what is going on with your machine at all times.
I mean, my boys used to say to me, they just used to be like... They're like, oh, Ben's like fucking... Edward Scissorhands with his Shindewa hedges. They're like an extension of his hands. He just fucking goes, and that's how I actually felt. Like I just would just fucking hold this thing all day. Like I used to get
Oh yeah.
No, not on my hands. The machines used to get like Ben hands.
Oh okay, yeah. I used
on
to
the grips
rub the grips and fucking end up with like
wanker's cramp.
Yeah, like and all the goo would come off on my hands.
Or like crack teeth wank jobs. Paul Wilkes, been a Honda fanboy for 20 years, but the love is coming to an end with their terrible battery units that they're trying to sell. I think the dealer loyalty is more important than the brand. Just about the dealer and the brand, I think they're both pretty damn important, only because I know when dealers all of a sudden switch brands, it can really fuck up your life.
They're very quick to tell you that
that other brand you've been buying for 20 years is whack.
Yeah. And you know what? If anyone was going to switch brand when they did the whole emissions thing, that was when you should have switched brand and said, they fucked them. They fucked them all.
In saying that, I haven't worked my way around the Honda battery range.
Yeah.
But I've got to be honest, even if it's not up to scratch right now, they will get to that point.
Yeah.
I believe that because they've always been at the forefront of outdoor power equipment. So also something that we should all note is that some of the mad shit that comes into America, we just don't see here.
That's for me to find out.
Echo, for example, 4 years ago had a multi-tool battery combi. And we've still never seen this.
Yeah.
So...
I think I picked up a catalogue, an Echo catalogue, and I fucking rang you. I'm like, they've got a multi-tool.
Yeah.
And you're like, not here, they don't.
No, yeah. I'm sitting there fucking watching all the videos on YouTube, and I'm just like, what is going on?
I can't wait, because that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to, is seeing all of the innovation this year. Because that was last year. Was it on last year?
Was that when they brought out that Vomit V ride?
Oh, with the fucking clear box.
I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you to stand next to that thing and tell me that it looks good.
Mate, you know what? This year I'm not going to be standing next to it. I'm going to be standing on it. That motherfucker is going to be...
I can't wait for you to tell me how good it looks.
I can't wait. I'm going to pull my nut out. You're sneaking.
Wait, so many people got cut about that comment.
Did they? Oh,
all the skag boys.
The fucking bread box skag, dude. It was a prototype. I'm not going to get mad at that.
It'd be good to see if they fucked off the Perspex. Perspex bonnet.
They'll need to keep it on there, because I'll just be fucking jizzing all over it.
Here we go. Speaking about jizz.
Oh, come on.
Joe Zuzu.
Joe Zuzu.
I think it's just because it has a Z in it.
Yeah. Growing up, a wise man once told me, if you're pushing, it, then it's a Honda. If you're holding it, then it's a Still. I'd say he's right. Even in this day and age, however, Husqvarna have made some massive inroads and would be pretty much tied up at the top spot with Still. I think these brands are truly tried and tested and trusted. Not delving into the ride-on market, I think these brands would be hard to beat otherwise. So, yeah, I think...
Pretty agreeable, honestly. I think a decade ago, if you saw someone without a Honda mower, you're like, who the fuck is this cowboy?
Yeah. I mean...
With the exception, you probably saw some Rovers.
Yeah. So those Pro Cuts, fuck.
But I'm telling you, man, everyone ran a Honda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in terms of handhelds, Still always got up on Husky because of a dealer network, not over quality.
Well,
and if you talk to anyone higher up in the business, they will tell you there is no comparison between Still and Husky, like in terms of, hey, which one's better, Still or Husky? They're built differently, and they're different components and stuff, but you can't go wrong with either one of them.
Now,
I think.
Now I've never used Still in the petrol range. I have used Still in the battery range. I think it's... I won't say it's... Okay, so the snippers, I don't have any Husky snippers in the battery range to compare it to, but I have got an Ego, and I find the Ego is better balanced. I think the power of the Still is fucking... I don't even know what I got. I think it's like a KA or KM fucking...
Well, you don't run it
131. Yeah, so... But I've used it. Fuck, it's got some ball bags.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
The Makita range... I think I saw Tim the Mole Man, he's got his new page... What is it? Turf and
Tools.
Turf and Tools. Jump on Instagram.
Yeah.
I saw it with this Makita stuff. You fucking got to press the button every time you want to engage the trigger.
Ooh.
It's an on-off button every time. So if you let go to fucking itch your nose, you got to hit the button again.
Fuck.
If you change positions, you got to hit the button again. Now, the Still line might have had some sort of dumbass fucking...
They have it's like a foreskin, so you got to draw it back and then you can use the trigger.
And for people who don't have foreskin, like me, it's really tough.
Well, I'm used to it, so... I got that beanie.
I got nothing.
Will you show me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Russell Newman.
Rusty.
I'm loyal to whoever provides a quality product, backed by quality customer service. For me, that's been Honda for their push mowers and Ego for their hedges, blowers and bippers. I also swear by Rover for their Bronco CRT rotary hoe. It's the heart and soul of the tight access, returfing side of my business. And I'll probably cop heat for this, but I back Azito for their DIY tools, portable air compressors, drivers, rattle guns, circular saws, all the stuff that I don't use on a commercial basis, but have the odd jobs for here and there.
Good.
I think realistically, I can throw some heat at you for the Azito comment.
I mean,
I ran Azito.
Yeah.
For the exact same basis.
Yeah, but now you're like remodeling a fucking house, so you had to upgrade. I
upgraded because, look, the Azito stuff is. Man, it's fine. Like, I could still use it.
Okay, one of the best things that Azito have got, and you got it first, and then I copied, that little fucking grinder. The little rotary tool. The battery one.
Oh, yeah, I still have that.
Yeah, okay, so that is one tool from Azito that I rate.
Look, when I say throw heat, I mean, like, they are fine, and he states here DIY. Drivers and stuff like that. So if you're not building fences and doing shit, then they're absolutely perfect.
Yeah. To be that honest though, even my Ryobi, I want to get something better for taking blades on and off.
Yeah,
that's my next.
So what I wanted to piggyback on my comment is though, because people they think I'm a big tool guy, right? But I haven't had a ton of experience. But honestly, like ever since I moved to Milwaukee, they really are the best.
It's
Like their impact drivers and stuff. Like I'm telling you, it's just and the drills. Like I'm fucking punching in these batten screws, man, and I'm not even using any muscles.
Yeah.
And my Azito would have done the job, and they held up. I never had any.
How many screws would you have stripped though?
No, nothing like that. It's just that, like, you're just not getting the job done as quickly.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, he stated here, DIY, I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I totally agree. But
and
I guess it's like...
Bunnings is actually a huge factor in this, too.
Yeah, I guess it's going from residential mowing gear to fucking commercial mowing gear, going from your Ozito and your other stuff to... Because you had Bosch stuff as well, but that was fucked old. Like, that was...
Yeah,
that was as old as my business.
The only reason why I left Bosch is because there's no lineup.
Yeah.
They just don't have the same lineup.
Yeah.
They don't even have the lineup that Azito has.
Yeah.
You know, so Rick Shiner, unfortunately, I can't find one brand that has everything I need. So I have a bit of a mixture, Husky Steel, Honda, and Cub Cadet. So something good to note. I'm just trying to break it down. You know, obviously Husqvarna, Steel and Honda don't have 0 turns. I would agree with Honda for all the handheld stuff. No, actually, it's I understand.
Have you put hands on any of the Cub Cadet power, like the petrol snippers and stuff?
Fuck no.
No, neither have I.
I'm not fucking holding a yellow handheld tool. You fucking kidding? Fucking hate.
It's like holding a daisy.
I'm fucking sick and tired of. Look,
dude,
I can get by with Still's orange marketing because it hasn't changed much since the 80s. You know, it's still kind of got that boxy look. Kind of looks old school.
Yeah.
So, but like, seriously, even the Husqvarna with like just all the orange and grey, like I just look at it and I don't love the look of it.
So when I put the Husqvarna and the Bush Ranger side by side, I was like, fuck, what on here is actually, on the Husqvarna, is actually, you know, helping this product, and what's just making it look a little bit cooler, like a little bit sleeker. Because like the Bush Ranger looks like a fucking whippersnipper. The Husqvarna looks like a whippersnipper, but it looks like it's completely contained and fucking so I don't know.
Oh,
it'd be interesting to see how they
see. That's what I love about, say, a brand like Ego. It's fucking black and green.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to fucking put your hands on it. You want to put it on your rig. Most of our rigs are pretty new, like either black, green, or grey.
Or a dark blue, some of
them are dark blue, but you know what I mean? Like, the machines fucking look good. They're relative to our industry colours.
Yeah. I don't mind.
And look, please don't buy a brand based on its colour from what I'm saying. But I
saw someone fucking a while back posted, they bought a machine because of the way it looked. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, look, I think...
That's just a bonus.
I think some of your Skags, you know, like some of the new blacked out machines...
The Patriot?
Whatever they are, I don't know. But, you know, even that some of them have black highlights all over.
Yeah, and you never know, once you get fucking eyes on it, you might like it. Hey, Benny, Tiger Stripe, meow.
That's right, and I can't remember if I've said that on the podcast. Hey, I ate my words.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, I think you can get the best Cub Cadet or whatever anywhere, and if it's still painted that fucking like yellow, I still just think I'm gonna have the same feeling about it.
What about Gorilla? What about their lime green? Does that turn you on?
I like some of the greens.
Yeah.
I like green.
Alright.
One thing that pisses me off about Bush Ranger, because blue's my favourite colour.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate baby blue. It's fucking Catch Pro blue, okay? That's where it's at. And I fucking hate that baby blue colour. That's why they fucking tried to give me one of their polo shirts one day.
Yeah.
And I immediately was like, I'm putting this in my jizz drawer. It just was like the very first thing.
What about their douchies? Their douchies have fucking, they're all sort of grey and only have a little bit of bushy blue on it. Just a smidge.
Yeah, I'm alright with it. I've got to be honest.
Just fucking deal with it, Ben.
The KG stand-on, I've got the original Spartan one with all the orange. And I remember, thinking to myself, geez, what are these KGs going to look like with the blue highlights and stuff? And I actually love them. I think they look awesome.
Do you feel the same way about Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You hate the yellow.
I just, always the same with Hustlers,
Hustler, Walker.
Yeah, some of the Hustlers have improved a bit with the black panels.
Okay.
But, like, the oranges and yellows probably get to me more. I think red is legit. But don't get me wrong, I understand it. There's not that many colours that you can use. And
then you got Bobcat who fucking changed, like they were unique having like that dark green, and then they changed to white. So they're just
I've always loved every style Bobcat, that every colour scheme that they've used. I thought that they nailed.
You get a hard dick over bottle green though. I remember when you were getting your greenscape shirt, you're like, fucking bottle green, check it out.
Yeah, bottle. It's so relative.
Exactly.
I've been trying to get bad workwear to bring out a bottle green T-shirt, just like the one that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And they're just and they're like, why? And I'm like, well, because people in the industry will buy it and wear it because it's relative to the industry that they're in.
I don't think people actually understand how many lawn mowing contractors or landscapers are out there.
We're just fucking overlooked, mate.
Not on catchpro.com.au.
So that was a sidebar.
Yeah, sorry about that.
James Santorino.
He said, I just use whatever brand I think is best for my business, using research online and from this group. Makita 40 watt for hedging, pruning, steel chainsaws, Husky snippers, Honda Toro and Skag mowers, Bushranger L301 and Shindaiwa T262 as backup snippers, and Shindaiwa backup hedges, which come out once in a blue moon. He's pretty much got the same setup as me.
He's pretty much got something of everything.
Yeah.
So
I just don't have any Makita, and he uses the Husky snippers.
There's a lot of people that are running the Makita handheld hedge trimmers.
Well, it makes... Well, look, I personally...
I like the way... Everything... No, the handheld ones.
Yeah. I personally didn't like the pole hedger, but I used the dual battery one, and I found that it was booty heavy with the dual batteries. I don't know if I had big batteries in there. It was just a dude that came by, and I was like... He was starting his business, and he asked me to teach him how to hedge. But the hand hedger was actually really nice to use.
Yeah, I mean, heaps of Greg Anderson. There's tons. Even our homeboy Anthony Hahn, he rocks it. And they're always showing on their Instagrams like the hedges that they trim, and they come up sexy as. So I think if I think even Jared, he runs Makita. Like drills and stuff.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense for him to go out and get,
It does, it really does. Same with the Makita stuff. Would you look at their OPE? Now you've got batteries?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
I would look at it. It's just tough with me because just like Monster Mowing, reached out and said like, hey, get one of these, but like I've got a whole fucking shed full of outdoor power equipment.
Yeah,
like
true.
If I ran a business still, all the boys would be running everything else, and maybe I'd go and get myself some Milwaukee gear so I could charge it all and run everything the same. That would be the reason. But in terms of mowing my own yard, mate, I just use what I got.
Yeah.
And
true.
Yeah, I'm using the Bushranger and Ego stuff.
Yeah. Nice.
So I don't even run petrol.
Oh, true.
Obviously in the Skag.
Yeah, but no two-stroke laying around.
Not anymore.
Yeah, very nice.
Not for chainsaws or nothing. Trevor.
Trevor.
Not really loyal with one brand as I use Ego, Toro, Protea for cylinder mowers, but would love to try.
MEY or Mowmaster.
Is MEY a brand?
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So
maybe if you bung some dot points in there for me, I could have got it a bit. I've never heard that brand.
Oh really? They're the
I'm
big fucking yellow.
Not a cylinder. Is it a cylinder?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a cylinder.
Oh fuck.
I'd love to. If Bush Ranger gave me one of their cylinders,
yeah,
I'd have a crack.
Same. I reckon my front yard would look good.
Oh, my yard would come up like dog shit. It'd take me a while.
I think my
I know for a fact I'd be taking big chunks out.
I got lucky with the new place. The inside is quite nice, so.
I've got half an acre of fucking paspalum.
I told you get one of those Fiskars things. You'll fucking
I fucking won't have any lawn left.
Yeah, that's alright.
Fucking
it'll grow over.
I go out there and just mow me weeds.
Yeah, fuck.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah, it looks so much better. Alright, Andy Sagas. Hey guys, I'm brand loyal. I run Honda Whippies, 3 GX35s.
I'm only joking, Andy.
Yeah, this fucking dude must have biceps like a gorilla, which is awesome. Honda push mowers ×3 HRU 216s. Just swapped out to a Bush Ranger 11A ×3. Fucking hell, he doesn't go fucking low, does he? As I couldn't get Hondas because of COVID. I have 2 big dogs, 0 turns, 48-inch decks.
48-inch duck?
They're not available in Australia anymore. And he just got a V-Ride. So he just got a 32-inch V-Ride and he will be starting anew with the Skag family. Welcome, Andy.
2 big dogs.
Yeah.
Big Dog was a good brand.
Yeah, don't really see many of them around.
They're done.
Well, I mean, I still see there's a dude who runs an Alpha around my area. See him every now and then. Were they?
The Alpha is the standard wrapper.
Were they the wackest of the packest?
They were.
Okay.
But they were still better than... Big Dog was better than Hustler.
Well...
They're the same, except Big Dogs just had, sometimes bigger wheels or a light bar or something.
It'll be interesting to see what their standards are like when I'm over in the GIE.
Big Dog is no more.
Oh.
They're
So
not
they don't do anything anymore, even over in the US?
No, like
Oh.
when Stanley Black and Decker bought Excel,
They just...
Big Dog was already phased out.
Shit.
So, I mean, I'm sure that there's probably stock over there.
Yeah.
But
no,
Stanley Black and Decker won't be making Big Dog.
Okay.
John Taekwondo, he says, this is a funny one.
I had hard at this one.
Look, I've tried everything out there, and at the end of the day, mowers all do the same thing. They all make long grass short. So just go whatever your local dealer has. Just as long as it's a Bush Ranger or a Hustler. Regards, James Nankervis. And it was fucking funny when I was reading it, because surely Nanky fucking copies and pastes that comment on every thread. You see him on like 20 different pages.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if James listens to this, but basically that has always been his comment, is that mowers make long grass short and go with what your dealer has. And like, I hate the comment so much.
Yeah.
The mower brands don't just make long grass short. If you buy a Skag that has a velocity deck, it is going to be so much different to if you bought, a fucking... I'm not even going to say another brand, but it's going to be different to brands out there.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you buy a 42-inch Bush Ranger, you're going to get, a 7-gauge deck. I believe Skag now has one.
Yeah.
And it'll be a 7-gauge deck. Now, Bush Ranger came out with that first last year, and they were the only... Oh, I'm sorry. Bobcat might have had...
Yeah, I think Bobcat had one.
Yeah. But, you know what I mean? In a 42-inch, with those 3 mowers, like, you can't compare it to a Raptor.
Yeah.
Or a fucking
Clipper.
Gravely or a Clipper.
Not at all.
Now, I still think you're going to get a great machine with that stuff, but they don't just all make long grass short.
No.
It's really not, and even about the dealers as well.
And features, you know, like
So many features, like
Clippers got your fucking
Clippers have your joystick with your fucking flip up deck.
yeah. So your Hustlers, I think, are a double blade system. The Skag is a 3-blade system.
Arians, yeah, I think most 42 inches these days are just going to be double blades. Is
Skag's a tri-blade.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
Yep.
Or one of the Gravely, I don't know. It might be the old Arians, because I had one.
Yeah. Oh, and was it dual or is it
3-blade on 42.
Okay. You love that Arians too, eh?
Absolutely love that Arians. Discontinued, bloody. It would be equivalent to one of the Gravely's now, but as much as I say I love that machine, I wouldn't love that machine if I got back on it now.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like, that was back then.
That was your first?
10 years.
Was that your first? That was your first ETO?
Yeah. 0 10. Yeah, 10 years ago that would have been. So just in regards, like, I'm just going to build on this a little bit further. You know, go to what your local dealer has. It's great to go to your local dealer, and I think it's fantastic to support that dealer. But let's face it, it's the local dealers are just not going to work with everyone.
No, and they're going to sell you what they have on their floor. They're not going to be a Hustler dealer and say, oh, no, you should buy a Skag because that would suit you better.
Some people might. I've seen it.
Okay, well, you know, either way, like, it's, you know, it's a rare, and that is a fucking amazing dealer that will give you their honest opinion. You know, I've had situations where I've been to less than honest dealers and they've given me conflicting information one week to the next. So, you know,
something to probably note about dealers as well. I think if you go to a Still or Husqvarna dealer, this will probably never happen. But you got to think about it. You know, 6 to 8 months ago, you went down to a Hustler dealer and you saw 50 Hustlers on the floor, and they've been selling them for 10 years, and they could be one of the most successful Hustler dealers ever. So you bought a Hustler. Now, you go into that same shop, probably 50% chance that they're not a Hustler dealer anymore.
Yeah. That's my local.
And same things can happen even to a brand like Skag.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, this is me and BJ talking from behind the scenes. We're in the know. You know, so even a brand like Skag, they might put a dealer on, and that dealer might not be selling as many Skags, or let's say they're a Cub Cadet dealer as well, and let's say they are pushing Cub Cadet but not Skag.
Yeah.
Eventually, that brand might be taken off them, and they might go to another dealer that is going to support the brand. So there really is, you know, just go to your dealer and buy whatever they have is not really the best.
No.
I always think, do your due diligence.
Yeah, do your research.
Figure out what is going to suit you. Figure out if you could get a price.
Yeah.
You know, good pricing helps.
Now, I've had messages where people are comparing residential machines to commercial machines, and they're like, which one should I get? I'm like, you fucking have to do your research. If you're comparing these two mowers, then you haven't really sat down and looked at the specs and look at what's involved in the specs. So I will fucking give, like, even if it's another machine, like, I will tell them exactly what it's all about, and then, you know, I'll tell them, you know, I'll weigh it up properly. I've got nothing invested in it. I don't get paid to sell machines. So it's one of those things, like, you know, I'll give you my honest opinion. Even if it's not Skag, like, fuck, I get messages about every brand. So it's one of those things, like, you really do have to do your research. And in hand tool brands as well. I mean, there'd be tons of guys out there that have gone out because of people's recommendations on Husky gear. They've gone to buy something and they're like, fuck yeah, bought the skin. There's no batteries, there's no chargers. And, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I've been told by someone high up in Husky that there is light at the end of the tunnel and there should be no more issues. who knows what the fuck's around the corner, to be honest. Like,
And just
I really hope that's the case, because
just in today's world, you know?
yeah, that's exactly right. Who knows what's around the corner, but I'll be really interested to see if that comes true. Like, I really want to see everybody succeeding. I think it's about time we got back to some normality.
Yeah.
Supply has been...
It seems like we're still
one of the hardest things for this fucking industry.
Seems like there's still going to be a little bit of kickback for a bit. So we have some replies here from James saying, geez, when's my Super Z coming? Surely I get a bit of a kickback. I don't even know what that's about. Or maybe from plugging the Hustler brand. I've seen all the merch they send you. I'm on to you. Apologies for my coughing. We're just I'm just strolling through the same thread, so I'm just waiting to get cool. To a new Jesse Winter. What have you got to say, mate?
Over my time, I've used... Isn't Jesse Winter like 15? Fuck me dead. Jesus Christ, he's had more fucking brands than I've had hot meals. Over my time, I've used a handful: Stihl, Husky, Toro, Massport, Bushranger, Honda, etc. I adore my Honda mower, and I've always come back to Stihl for handheld equipment, especially my Stihl KM94. Now, is that comparable to like a 262? I haven't fucked with any of those.
I think so. I think the 131. I think that's the big dog. Like that's like that's like your 272.
Okay.
I cooked that 8.
No, who knows? Well, they fucked around with the numbers again. I went in to buy a Shindaiwa, and it's like a 236 now.
It's fucking hilarious. Just quickly, sometimes when I'm having conversations with anyone higher up at Bushranger, they'll start rattling off model numbers to me. And I sit there and I just tell them, I was like, mate, I just don't give a fuck about these model numbers. It just either give me a price bracket, or like, you know, because man, I
tell me how many inches it is. Tell me the fucking horsepower.
I just get
tell me the price.
Sick to fuck of these model numbers.
Yeah, I know. There's so many, and with them changing all the time.
And then like I bought my Ego.
Yeah.
Like went into Trade Tools, hit them up. I knew about the commercial machine.
Yeah.
And then just started getting all of these messages, and they're like, was it the fucking XT1 2000 or whatever the fuck
STX 3000.
Whatever the fuck it is. And I just got so fucking sick and tired of it. And I just was responding, it's the commercial one. It's the commercial one. And then
that's what I did with the hedger. The hand hedger's the same. When I went in and got my hand hedger, I was like, I want the commercial one. And then they're like, okay.
And then it was funny.
I
think Baz even texted me and he's like, by the way, this is the model number. And I understand it from a marketing point of view, but it was just one of those things where, I don't know.
It's weird, eh? Well, Jesse goes on to say, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about Stihl, but to me, I've always found them the most comfortable to use. Now, I'm not sure, is Jesse gone full time yet?
Mate, I don't know.
Not sure.
It's funny, you know, I won't spend too much time on it, but I used Stihl for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's funny how, like I was in tune with those machines.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Shindaiwa, and I was just I was using Shindaiwas and everything, and I just picked up a Stihl, because we still had them on the rig, but other workers would use them. Picked one up, could not do a straight line with one. They're very torquey.
Yeah, that's what I found. Even with their battery gear, they're
fucking jumping around everywhere.
They've put that into their battery gear. The one thing with Stihl that kind of gets me is the warranties. You have to use their Stihl oil.
Oh, dude, it's a fucking.
And I know that that's the only thing with the Stihl stuff that's.
I reckon Husky's similar in the sense that they're not. It's not like you have to run their oil and stuff, but all of those huge brands, that's why they're in business.
Yeah. Well, I had a QC 500, which is a quick charger, and that had a fault, and I took it back, and my dealer said, I'll let you know when they come in, obviously shortages and shit like that, and as soon as one came in, I've just had a replacement. So, there was no questions asked, obviously it was almost brand new. It was only 6 months, not even 6 months old, maybe 3 months old. So
I think that's a good example of a good warranty, pal.
Or a good dealer.
Yeah,
Because maybe he was just like, yeah, we'll fucking take it. We checked it out. But I know that not everybody does do in-house battery repairs.
Yeah, no, yeah,
That's another thing.
We have Jaden ribbed cockchester.
Mm-hmm.
Do you always just think of like a ribbed condom when you see rib chester?
No, never.
It's just me.
Dirty fuck.
He said, I've used most brands, Massport, Husky, Rover, Honda mowers. Always going back to Honda mowers. That's all I get for push mowers now after a bit of trial and error. And used to use Shindewa tools, but when they changed because of the emissions, heard a few bad things, went to Still, tried them out. And now everything from snippers, blowers, hedge trimmers, chainsaw, pole saw is Still, and he won't go back. Snippers and blowers are 2-stroke. Rest is battery, but do have battery multi-unit. I'm just trying to get to the rest of the thread. Just isn't running long enough. Also, brand loyal to Catch Pro.
Hey!
Fucking love you now, mate.
Now, there was a bit of controversy.
He has always been a great
that's
customer.
good. There was a bit of controversy around the Shindewa stuff when it came out, but I still bought a Shindewa T262 when the XS, when they came out with the new emissions things. I picked up a new contract and I bought a machine, and 4 years on, that machine is still a daily driver.
Wow.
So
I bought 2.
no, see, I had the same issues with the small engine model. So the same one that you had issues with, I had issues with. And I've got 2 sitting under my house. And I think you had the same amount sitting in your shed.
They'd be sitting in fucking Rusty's fucking
container of fucking spare parts.
Yeah. So, but I mean, look, I wasn't persistent, and that was right when we were like, fuck it, batteries.
Yeah.
Coming. I can't remember what. I think I might have got my first bush ranger around just after then. It's been some years since realistic. Like, I haven't been a full-time contractor for like 3 years.
Yeah.
We forget, we think Catch Pro is still really new and everything.
Yeah.
But the day that I posted a video on LMCA of me laying in the dirt with Rusty.
Yeah.
That was the last day that I was a real contractor.
Oh, okay.
I never went back full time after that.
That was fucked.
Because we literally, I just never went back full time. So thanks for your comment, Jaden. Brett Williams, I think brand loyalty comes down to which dealer looks after you better. I like my Still gear, but the local dealer does not carry enough parts and is too slow to deal with, so I've started buying Husky gear from the dealer a few doors up as they bend over backwards to look after contractors. I know they also love Husky gear as they seem very well balanced. Perfect example of, 2 brands that are pretty similar.
Yeah.
And you just go to wherever you get the service.
That's it.
Look, I think it's probably similar with Shindewa and Bush Ranger.
Yeah. A lot of the times too in a town, you'll find, or in like a section of a town, you'll find there's one guy that really caters to commercial guys, and there's one that will focus more on the residential side of the biz, like looking after fucking granddad with his old Victor, something like that.
Yeah.
In my area anyway.
Oh, look, I think you get that everywhere.
John Morton, honestly, there's not a lot of difference between quality, features, price in all brands. They all watch each other very closely. Dealer is more important to me. I get really great service from my local Sydney tool store, my Makita supplier, and the local Husky dealership, where I always feel welcome and important to them. And if I were to start again tomorrow, I would buy everything from them.
Okay. Love the comment, but probably disagree with the brands. Like, not a lot of difference in the brands. Yeah. I think there is.
Yeah.
I think if you use a Still, a Husky, and I made the comment earlier that like the brands are super comparable and you really can't go wrong. But they're not the same. They have a very different feel. I think they're both a great, reliable product, similar price. they're two corporate conglomerates that go head to head for the OPE market, but the products are not the same.
Yeah.
And I think we should make it well known.
No, I'd like to look at the price point of the Stihl versus Husky stuff. Haven't really.
I think Husky gets over with their 20% contractor thing.
Yeah.
But really, like, even when you look these days at a brand like, say, Honda and Bush Ranger for their push mowers, the products are becoming further and further apart.
Yeah.
Like, Bush Rangers on the ground in Australia, and they're like, okay, we need, say full chutes, or we need bigger wheels, or we need tougher decks, or, and those changes are being made quite a fair bit.
Yeah.
And you can really see it reflecting in product sales, so, I like the comment.
It's good that he's found someone who looks after him, because that is a huge part of business, is finding the backup.
I don't think anyone's right or wrong in this thread either.
No. I think it all
except for
comes
maybe James Nankervis. I'm only messing, James. Okay, Paul Luck. Never understood brand loyalty and fanboyism. Keep your options open, do your research, and get the best tool for the job. The name of the brand means nothing. I use Honda, Toro, and Ego. They all have their pros and cons. No such thing as a perfect tool. Controversy. I probably agree. I don't think there's anything. Generally, there probably isn't a perfect tool. But I love fanboyism.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, man. When people, I do. I love it when people get amongst a brand and they believe in the brand.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
It's like a Holden versus Ford thing, and
there really is no difference.
Ram versus Isuzu.
Yeah, I mean, come on, fuck. But
Isuzu wins every day.
It's everything. It's Catch Pro versus Accelerator. It's fucking Green Touch versus Equipment Defender.
Yeah.
And you will, I like the fanboyism.
Yeah, I like it.
I think it gives me the shits sometimes when the blind is pulled over,
Yeah.
if it's like, oh, okay, this product, they can't do anything wrong, or everything is amazing.
Yeah.
It's not true in most cases.
Yeah.
But
then Paul Luck also, pretty much every post he ever does is like, why don't you get a fucking Toro Time Master and fucking cut your mowing in half?
Yeah, I can't say that. I mean, I recognise the name Paul Luck.
He's all for Toro Time or Time Cutters or whatever the fuck they are. So it's kind of like you're a bit of a fanboy for Toro.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him mention Honda or Ego or anything like that, but he's definitely a fan of Toro.
Yeah. But I mean, even if he was a fan of, let's say, it's not a time cutter, it'd be the 30-inch machine, is it?
Yeah.
He's him saying, I don't understand brand loyalty, but if he did understand brand loyalty, if he loved those 30-inch machines so much, it's going to help him in business.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everyone has to be an Instagram person or, whatever. That's not what I mean by being a fanboy. But, really loving that brand, using it, getting connected. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I'm a Skag fanboy. I get so excited when other people get Skags. I'm like, send me a fucking photo right now.
Yeah.
It's just what I like.
The novelty.
This is like my
novelty
hobby.
Definitely wore off for me.
This isn't like my hobby. Like everything revolves around my business now. So if people fucking get excited, I get excited with them. So.
Yeah. All right, Mark Luttaway. Fuck, haven't heard of him for a while.
Oh, he's a frequent flyer.
He better be stirring up some shit.
Yeah, of course he is.
Always been a Tanaka user. See, immediately straight into it, stirring up some shit. Everything handheld, whip, hedge trimmer. Never needed to change. Why would you when you're getting 5+ years out of them? Such a shame Tanaka is getting harder to find through dealers. So one day I'll have to swap brands, more than likely to a battery brand. Hoping that's still another 5 years away. Still not convinced enough for them as yet. Still always for chainsaws. They did start out with a great little Oldie Mac that an arborist and I worked for. Fuck, I thought we were wrapping up the comment. Here we go. Only other still product is the BR800. The handheld never comes out. Pushy, self-propelled. Always go with Honda. Ride-on. Wells, Ben Vandergeesen mentions every time on the podcast when he sees my name, Mark Ladway, he knows I'm a Walker guy. Fuck me. He's going on a tangent. Is brand loyalty relevant? I don't believe so. You buy the equipment you need, not what you would like. I think too many contractors get sucked into the hype of some products, then realise it doesn't match their work. The equipment then rarely gets used, sits in a shed collecting dust before offloading at a loss. Buy once, buy right.
Okay, so I buy what I like. So
yeah.
Maybe that's because I have a little bit more, because my business is bigger.
But does it matter if, like, look, I love his comment, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're buying what you like and it's an awesome product, then you can't go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like,
look, I don't believe. Look, there was a comment said once, "Fuck, there's a lot of 32V rides up for sale."
Yeah, I think there was fucking 2 of the cunts. And
whatever. I think there was a point where someone, I don't know how many were for sale.
Yeah.
Someone brought up this comment, and then someone else is like, "Ooh, there must be something wrong with these machines, or they mustn't be that great." Now, you can say the same for Catch Pro units.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like my heart breaks a little bit every time I see a Catch Pro for sale.
Yeah.
But people's circumstances change.
Yeah.
I know people who have bought a Catch Pro for one contract.
Yeah.
They've had the contract for 6 months, something fucking happened. They don't have that contract anymore. Hey, guess what? I don't need my Catch Pro anymore.
Yeah.
And
it's the same with the 32s. Like, some people will go and they'll hit these, these residential properties with their 32s, and then some opportunity will come along and they don't have the capital to have both machines. So they sell one to get the next.
Even a guy like, let's just use Anthony Moore, for example.
Yeah.
He had a 32V ride, and he, like I used to see some of the work that he did and everything, and eventually he sold it. And like now you see lots and lots of his work. He does a lot of hedging.
Yeah.
And he probably just realized at some point, this is what I enjoy. This is what I'm really good at. And he has all the tools to perform that. He's probably like, look, I mess around with the V-Ride. I don't really need it anymore.
Yeah. The thing I don't like about when people make comments like,
I don't believe, just quickly, I'm sorry. I don't believe anyone ever bought a V-Ride and sold it because it was a bad product.
Yeah.
I truly believe that.
Yeah. No, well, the comments that came after that were, the Skaggs boys will be broken up about this. And it's like, no, like, some people just take a different path. Like,
Yeah. I mean, look, if you looked at it, and you probably thought like, oh fuck, I wish that didn't happen. But that's because you love the brand and you're representing the brand.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything else.
You know what, as soon as those, because I know how many they are, because so many people contact me, they're like, oh, because of the stock shortages, as soon as someone who's contacted me says, oh, I'm after a 32, but I don't want to wait this long, I'm like, see one of those come up for sale, I'm like, fucking, there's one there, that's the price. If you need help with transport, let me know.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's even use Mark not him for example, but Walker as a brand. He's a fanboy of Walker, right?
Yeah.
And you see fucking Walkers going up for sale left, right and centre.
Yeah.
So, I love Mark anyway.
He's always good for a big fucking thread.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's always been a contributor to us.
And he's good at like nice paragraphs and everything, so it's easy to read.
Easy to break down, even though it took me fucking 20 minutes.
That's alright.
But I do understand. No, go back.
Oh, sorry, mate. I didn't
Go back, you
realise.
fucking dog.
Fucking hell.
I do understand this little comment saying I think too many contractors get sucked into the hype of some brands. Now, I think, you know, when you have things like Stand On Mower Army and Skag Family and just some of the bits and pieces that are out there, I don't think those people are being sucked in, but I think some people probably get on the train a little bit and was like, I'd love to have a business model where I can use that.
Yeah.
And I think that's literally where it starts and finishes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure people buy Isuzu trucks and eventually realize, like, motherfucker, I could have just bought a twin cab ute.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah. I can totally understand that, but you know, I'm lucky because, you know, I am at a stage where I can pick and choose what I do, so I can buy my stuff like my.
He's not talking to you, BJ.
No,
He's not talking to you.
No, I'm just saying, like, other contractors have the same mindset as me. Like, there's heaps of guys out there that are growing, and we grew kind of quick. Like, I was a little bit shocked, but you know, I just took. It's just all about research. Like, you just got to research and kind of plan ahead, and sometimes things change.
Mate, I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with being in love with certain brands. Like, I know when Corey Ballard comes out with a new product, I'm always like, hell yeah.
72.
You know, like, it's... Yeah, I think it's horses for courses there.
It's the same with your stuff. Like, when you come out with stuff.
It is exactly the same. Like, people, man, we have, you know, like a whole customer base that can't wait to get the newest Catch Pro product.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's where I'm on the other side of the fence. But yeah, I just, you know, getting sucked into, I just think, I guess that's where maybe I don't love that comment because I feel like maybe that's what people think about me.
Yeah.
You know, like, is Ben sucking people in to certain trends that, because it's true, I do that.
Yeah.
But I don't do it in a bad or malicious way. Like the Stand On Army, for example. Like, fuck yeah, be a part of the Stand On Army, rah rah rah. But if someone came to me and said, hey, I'm looking to get a stand on, what's your advice? You know, and if they told me that they mowed 3 lawns a week,
Yeah.
I would never tell that person. You know what I mean? Like, I am that type of dude where exactly the same thing. If someone rang me up and said, should I get a 32 V-Ride? Currently, I have about 9 lawns. You know, I'm sure... what would you say? Like, I would never tell someone to go out and make a $15,000+ purchase.
No, I would
For
definitely
9
say,
lawns.
like, what are those 9 jobs earning you, and can you justify it?
Yeah.
Because, fuck, dropping that much money on 9 lawns, you better be fucking getting paid good money for those 9 lawns.
Yeah, no, and I do it every day with products. People say, like, I'm thinking about getting the X-Blade, and then I talk to them a little bit, and then, you know, if I don't think it's right, I'll just say, look, you know, I really don't think you need this.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to have that impression for me. Dale Lang.
Dale.
You read it because I'm sick of talking.
Yeah. Ego brush cutters, blowers, pruners, chainsaws.
That says Echo, by the way.
Echo. Fuck, man.
Fucking, I'll give him the mic for 2 seconds and have a fucking look.
I'm getting old. My eyes aren't working like they used to. The kake eyes. Echo brush cutters, blowers, pruners, chainsaws, as light, powerful and easy to start. Very reliable equipment with a great local dealer. Mowers, Honda, Skag, Massport. So far, love them all. I would love to try other brands. Have Makita tools, few Chinese ones, and the odd Ryobi. It's not used much, and for the price of Ryobi will do the job. Used to always be a Toyota fan, but not really alliance with any companies these days. So many are market and so many have people issues. Using Honeywell earmuff that I like to listen to the radio whilst mowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we can safely say about this thread is that the LMCA community really is not brand loyal.
No, not at all.
Which doesn't mean shit. And we're not trying to push brand loyalty either.
No.
We're just trying to
find out where it is.
We're just trying to have a podcast topic.
Pretty much.
But where I do think it makes a lot of sense is if you look at Landscape Solutions or Skyline or Corey Ballard or any humongous company,
Green options,
they all run fleets of the same brand.
because they would get a fucking immense amount of discounts.
That's right, and that's why you do that type of shit.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same with your dealers. Like, even though you're only buying maybe 1 or 2 pieces of equipment a year, if you're going to get that equipment serviced at the dealer, that's extra money in their pockets. You know, there's lots of little things that.
I think it's great to try stuff too, but I think once you found your niche, like once you found it, then I don't think brand loyalty is a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
And I do think if a competitor comes out with something that is well and truly known to be better, like say you've got your Toro 30-inch guys, and they look over at this Skag and they're just like, fuck those fanboys, or whatever. I think what they really need to do is separate themselves from that and look at the machine. And I'm using these two machines as examples because the Skag is so much better.
Yeah.
And I think that is a classic.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen people make comments like there'll be a Skag 30-inch and someone will just be like, I'd buy it if it was a Toro. And it's just a dumb fuck comment.
There's tons of people out there that, put shit on other brands like straight away because they don't.
And realistically, I don't even think those two products are really that comparable.
Not
just
really.
because the Skag is just such a machine.
Everything on it's really high spec.
And so it doesn't make sense for some businesses.
Yeah.
But
That's it. Some businesses it just doesn't make sense, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
There's been some good content coming out about 30-inch. We haven't done that much mowing over winter, so I didn't take much film, and it's been harder for me.
I've still never used one.
You pushed it one time.
I don't even know that I don't think I might have pushed it when it was off.
Yeah, I think you did.
So, Kyle.
Kyle.
MC Kai to the motherfucker yow. I'm a bit of a whore.
Nice.
I'm more loyal to individual machines rather than a brand in general. He loves his Echo PB 8010. Great machine, that one.
Yep.
Husqvarna whips and battery hedging gear. Victor Mulchmaster. See, that's a great example.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a fucking that's like an industry favorite.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, for mulching side discharge, weapon of choice is the right for zero turn. We've chosen all the gear with 100% focus on efficiency, as I'm working solo majority of the time, and I want to be able to smash through the bulk amounts of work the shortest possible time without sacrificing quality. I think all of his comments are very fair because I've seen the work that he does, and he's got, the 72 Julie, which is in a specific market.
Yeah, it's a niche.
I think if you got the 61, they don't bring the 72V right in. Is there one?
No.
Okay, there's not one. But I think, say for example, he could still get by doing his work with the 61V ride, but having the dual wheels and then the bigger deck makes a lot of sense for him to stay with that brand. I think if he was to move to the 32 or 36 market, I think there's other brands out there that would service him as well.
Yeah.
Tim Samuel could at least do us the pleasure of posting a pic. I think they then go on to do it. Turtle says he's brand loyal, and believe me, this dude is. Like, he is probably my most loyal contractor. And he says, for 20 years, I started out 20 years ago, and we'll be. I've just cooked everything in this comment. I'm so sorry, Turtle. Will you forgive me?
Just start again, man.
For sure, I'm brand loyal. Have been when I started out 20 years ago and will be till the end. Still petrol and battery power equipment. Skag stand on Honda Pushma. And don't forget catchbro.com.au for my accessories and machine improvements. Loyalty is one of the more core values. So, and if anyone ever talks to Turtle, you just know he's a stand-up dude.
Yeah.
I think... I don't think he's correct in the sense that, like, if one of these brands was letting him down, then I don't think it's wise to be loyal. But once it's working for you, there is nothing wrong with being loyal or a fanboy.
Well, having 20 years under his belt, I'm sure he's got a few fucking old stills hanging up in the shed that he could strip down for parts. He'd have enough... What has he got for pushies?
Honda.
So, fucking... Yeah, they're all interchangeable. So...
And
it's a pretty good bet that he's got plenty of fucking carcasses out the back.
Ben Patterson, # Team Toro. Been playing in the field for way too long now. Tried every brand, owned most. If it ain't red, leave it in the shed. And he's absolutely loving. He's got a grandstand, right?
No.
Oh, it's not grandstand. It's
it's Zen-Master.
Okay, cool. Look, perfect example of he's found a brand that works for him.
Yeah. But then he got a Ventrac. That's fucking...
It's a specialised machine.
But it's an Toro.
Yeah, they probably didn't have any. Probably can't get one till 2025. Tim Samuel used to be brand loyal to Honda and still, but now realising that there was more out of naivety. No. He's being naive.
Yeah.
I can't... How do you pronounce it?
Naivety.
Okay, so...
You were pretty much...
I fucking aced it. Rather than anything else, through LMCA and Instagram, I'm seeing more and more of other brands that are just as good and sometimes better. I'm just going to stop that comment there. And that's where I think your Instagram, your influencers, a lot of people have this sellout, stigma. Or like, oh, this is bullshit, he's pushing that because he's getting free shit. But at the end of the day, it's not always like that.
Yeah, and good luck if you can fucking spot all the brand ambassadors on a certain fucking forum or whatever. Good luck.
Let me just tell you, this is what BJ's getting at. LMCA is fucking riddled with brand ambassadors that no one knows about. They're fucking secret ones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're not tripping on it or anything, but there's a lot of that shit out there.
Heaps.
There is a lot of that shit out there. And we all have to realise, like, I don't watch a lot of TV, right?
Yeah.
But I'm watching The Block.
Me too.
With the missus.
Yeah.
And now, I watched The Block once, like maybe a decade ago, and I just watched the show.
It was all about renovations.
Yeah, I just watched the show. And I've been watching it the last couple of weeks, and it fucking makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking, hey, do you want to go and move that Makita box, or have a look at my Suncorp Easy Banking app, and everything is product placement.
Yeah. Here's all your new blue steel boots for the week.
Absolutely. Everything is product placement.
Wild.
And marketing.
The money comes from fucking different advertisers and shit.
I mean, we do the same shit. I mean, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
So, but what I wanted to say about it is that if someone recognizes a brand and it happens to be really great value and work really well, then that influencer has done their job.
Yeah.
And I don't see any negativity around it.
No.
Like, I don't see anything that could be bad about it. So, I kind of forgot what I was talking about. Oh, that's right. Through LMCA, you just learn about all this shit.
Imagine all the old boys just running around with what they started with is what they've still got.
Yeah, and I think if it was working really great for them, then that's cool. Yeah. But even best mate with a huge business, Tyson, he's still fucking using Toro time cutters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking, can you please fucking come and buy a mower with me?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man, I'll just fucking go down here and they just put it on the account. I'm like, you're fucking doing it every year.
Yeah.
Get a fucking Liberty at least. Like, you know. Anyway. Battery gear throws a little loyalty spanner in the works though, as most handheld battery gear is one size fits all their batteries, so it makes sense to be brand loyal in that context, to save on buying too many different brands and all their different batteries and chargers, and I wholeheartedly agree. Alright, Nanky Panky says, he used to be brand loyal. I thought Still and Honda were all I'd ever need to use, then started trying various brands. This is a pretty extensive comment. These days my trailers and sheds are fully basically every brand available. Now we know that Nanky has had a little bit of, he's not an ambassador, but he's had a little bit of bits and pieces. He's a little bit like me, where I reckon if he could buy one of everything, then he would.
Yeah.
Because he's very passionate about equipment.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say, for general trimmers, Bush Ranger have done me well. Husqvarna backpack blowers. For push mowers, I go Honda. You know, he also has, like, he's running big Kubotas and stuff like that. So, you know, he's just one of those dudes that I think he's passionate about equipment.
Yeah.
And he's also doing some specialty stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Travis Savage.
Travis Savage. That's a famous name.
Is it?
Just think about it. Fucking Travis Savage is coming in.
Oh, okay.
You know.
All right, cool. Yeah, Travis says, it's funny, all my handheld gear is still, I have 3 trailers running the same gear, and I've thought about switching, but I love the look and the consistency. So that's, fair enough.
Man, I love that comment because...
If he's got 3 trailers...
It just, it piggybacks off the things that you and me have said.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it doesn't look one-sided anymore because someone else feels the same.
That's it. He said, plus I have a great dealer, which again is good. Also I think different colours would fuck up with my OCD, which is,
I feel like he's like my lost soul.
Yeah.
Because I feel that way too.
When I had all the Shinola stuff, it was very just uniform. It looks nice, but...
Yeah, and imagine putting like one of those fucking yellow Cub Cadet handhelds on there.
Right in the middle.
You'd be like, what the fuck is this Teletubby fucking thing?
Moles on the other hand, we run Kubota, Honda, Toro, Massport. So not brand loyal, I guess, just sticking with what works best for our business.
Well done.
Very cool.
PJ, I've had a lot of brands over the years, was loyal to 2-Stroke Victor until they got bought out. Now loyal to Honda and Still Power Tools, moving into Ego for less noise. I think it's good to see what works for you best. You know, and he also says, you know, to take people's advice, but always do your homework.
That's it.
Great comment. It seems like, would you say, Still has really got a strong hold, at least on this thread, of the handheld market?
For sure. I mean, they've always been about their handheld stuff more than like their pushies and stuff like that, but yeah, they're really fucking...
Do they even make a push mower?
Yeah, I know they got like battery push mowers and stuff.
Yeah.
They're about to have 0 turns.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's great about it still is the longevity of the brand.
Yeah.
You know, like it's had a presence for fucking 20 plus years.
If you ask Granddad what to get, he'll tell you to get a fucking Still. Or Greenfield.
Benny Stroud says Still battery and petrol hedgies, chainsaws, combi, Still. Second Ford Falcon Ute. Don't want to get a battery blower and may have to try out the Ego. Not confident the Still battery blower has a realistic runtime. Just quickly, the runtime on the Still to the Ego will be totally comparable. So I love my Ego battery hand blower.
Yep.
If it's just a quick bit of advice, if you are looking to run, you know, down the line any other Ego equipment, then yes, get the Ego. If you're gonna just continue with your Still stuff, try their battery stuff, because you've got I see here you've got the combi tools.
Yeah, he's got the combi.
So it might make more sense for you to have a look at that still, because the runtime will be the same on a say 5 amp battery.
Yep.
Brendan,
Another one.
too many different colours to trigger my OCD. Once you find something that works, I think it's somewhat human nature to not want to deviate. For me, I have limited storage space, so keeping spare parts that are common amongst machines is important. For this reason, I've stuck to Honda, MoMaster. Bigger gear he has still 2-stroke, solo sprays, etc. And yeah, I think it's, he actually goes on here to have another comment. Similar in the way with machines to work is an important factor, especially when employees are involved. This is probably a second issue for me when deciding what gear to buy, but it's worked out well for me when I'm just not on my own.
Yep.
So yeah, there are some brands that that they just have little things on them where you're like, oh, the boys are gonna fuck this.
And again, like with the Husky versus Bushranger stuff, the cost, they're both going to do the same job, and who knows how your machines are being handled when you're not actually there. So
yeah,
$200 difference if you're going through a couple of snippers a year, that'll add up in the end.
We have a good comment
Andrew
here.
Thompson, for me, brand loyalty is more of a case of brand uniformity across the different areas of my business, plus the relationship I have formed with suppliers. Very good. Happy to have a number of brands in my business, but stick to one brand per machine type. We have an amazing relationship with our mower supplier and are very happy with our 6 Toro machines. I do like to have a Kubota diesel or a Kohler petrols in my machines. We currently use Stihl hand tools and have had Echo and Husky fleets in the past. Once again, we have a great relationship with our vehicle dealer and have a fantastic run with Tritons for work utes.
Yeah, nice. So, pretty cool comment there too. He's
got a fair bit of gear too. So.
Yeah, and sort of states okay, for chainsaws, I'm going to run this, or for some people they love that BR800 Stihl backpack.
Especially if you're running all the same equipment across multiple crews, then you can be like, oh fuck, we've got to take the chainsaw off of fucking Greg's crew because bloody Phil's crew is broken down. So that person will grab that chainsaw and know exactly.
I think it's good too. Humongous. He says he's pretty brand loyal normally because once I've settled on a brand, it's because he's tried a few things or researched the shit out of it. Mm-hmm. I think. And we know Hugh, he's pretty, even though he jokes and laughs around, he does his due diligence.
Yeah.
He's actually people might not know this about him, but he's actually very particular.
Oh.
When he mounted his Pro Shield, it was I was like, bro, you should do that for a living.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he even painted the deck.
Really?
Before he put his bolt, he drilled the holes, rust proofed it, fucking repainted it. And he's just a particular dude that takes care of his shit.
Yep.
And so I think for him, once he did his due diligence and realized what worked for him, and he's just like, man, I don't want to move away from this because it's fucking working for me. And I think there's lots of people in that situation. Craig Burrows was Team Pornhub, but then they changed their format and I don't like it, so I'm kind of swinging at the moment. No brand loyalty.
Wow. Ew.
I was always XNXX for a decade.
I was a bit of X-Hamster, a bit of XNXS.
Oh, you really are a fucking whore. I know you. I mean,
Remember the old DVDs we used to get? Sit around and then we used to swap them when we were 17.
When you swap them, you're like, why does this feel so gross to him?
Why can't I? Yeah, why is it sticking to my...
Can't you just put it over there while you toss it?
Why is it sticking to my couch?
Aaron McAids.
oh, Jesus. My eyes are cooked.
McDade, that is, actually. Best tool for specific job, regardless of the brand. One thing I will say is multiple machines of the same brand and model are great for spares and know how to fix things easily and quickly. Hilux for the win. Wade Woodley says, I think some of it has to come down to what has been discussed many times. Get whatever has the best dealer network and support. You could have the best product available. If you can't get parts, it's quickly worthless. Really great comment.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. Like, I sort of think that is pretty damn true. Like, if you wanted to buy a John Deere ride-on where we live, I think there was a specific model I talked about a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and I was like, geez, I wouldn't mind fucking trying that out. But mate, you wouldn't do it where we live.
No,
because your dealer is 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
And
there's none.
And there is none. But understand the comment. Jared Summer, brand loyalty, nope. The brand I'm loyal to is what works best for me. Now, we know how many mowers does he have? He's got a bunch. He's got a bunch.
He says in that thread that he could switch between several models in a day.
Yeah, depending on what he's doing.
Yeah.
And some of them are like application specific. Like if you've got a Victor Mulchmaster, it's not like you are gonna, swap that out for a cylinder one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nathan, whatever tool gets the job done. Dealerships play a part. Some brands I wouldn't bother with purely because of the local dealer. I love that. I agree with it. Say for example, for us, Steel is a fine brand, but the dealer like around our way is just a knob. Same with Toro. The Toro dealers down here are fucking useless, and we just never looked at it because I walked in the shop and just knew that they were fuckheads the minute I met them. Chris.
I'm a brand slut between Stihl, Honda and Makita, but aiming for a full swap next year. Fair enough. And you know what? Buying power is a good idea. Like if you want to fucking buy in bulk, then you're going to get a deal. And if you don't get a deal, then you fuck something up there.
Something to note as well, if you go to a dealer and let's say they're carrying 3 brands, even if you're doing a pretty significant order, the discounts are not as good as if you stick to one brand.
Yeah.
Because all of those different brands, even though they're under one umbrella, like in the dealership, they all have specific rules. Like, okay, if you keep adding this on, we can do this, this, and this. But if you're going to add a Red Max or something like that, it kind of, throws a spanner in the works. Daniel Lee, I started my business thinking Honda was the ultimate tool, but soon learned if you have a rubbish dealer with terrible customer service, then what's the point of being loyal to that shop or brand? I now have an awesome local dealer that sells a mixture of Japanese 2-stroke products, have a mixture of everything from Honda, Stihl, Milwaukee, Adam, Mitsubishi, Echo, Toro, Gravely, Bush Ranger. As long as they get the job done, I don't break down, and are reliable. I couldn't care what I used, to be honest, so that's good.
Holy fuck, Daniel, you do have a bit of
Wait, were you impressed how quickly I rattled off those brands?
I was very impressed, yeah.
And then I fucking cooked it at the end and just, don't get credit for nothing.
No, I'll give you credit.
Stephen Ween.
Steve Ween.
I haven't heard from Weenie in a while.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
He's been pretty active. Said I started out loyal to my local dealer. Availability of equipment during the last year has changed this for me. There are many good brands out there. If I need a machine and can't get what I want from my local dealer, I'll look elsewhere. Battery and large-scale financial outlay are the only areas I think brand loyalty matters now. If you're investing in lots of big equipment from a brand, you'll want to stick with them. If you have a lot of investment in batteries, you'll also want to stick with that brand.
Very smart comment, and I couldn't agree more. Like if someone came to you, BJ, and they had like 8 Toros, like say Z Masters, and they're like, sort of thinking about getting, a Skag, whatever is relative, and they sort of they didn't really have a dealer that close and stuff like that, would you just be like, dude, why wouldn't you just fucking get another Z Master? Like, if you didn't really have a problem with the Z Masters?
Yeah.
If you had a problem with the Z Masters...
But it depends. If you wanted to try something different, I'd be like, all right, well, here's your closest dealer.
Yeah, okay.
I guess I think it's different with zero turns when people with other brands are like, they're obviously going to go look. Like if someone's got 8 Toros, they know what the fuck they want in business, and they know what they want from their machine. So
Yeah.
I guess when you get to 8, maybe you can shop around a bit. You can.
That's it. Footscray says, U2 would be one of my favourite bands ever. I'm not sure if I'm loyal to them, as there's been heaps of other great brands since their demise around the Europia era.
Now we're going to have to go back to your original thing to find out if you wrote band or brand. I'm confused.
Yeah,
we'll do that at the end.
We're
so far through this fucking thread. Can't go back to the top now.
Yeah. Oh no, man, that's good. Benny Brown.
I like to use different brands, but I usually go with what my local dealer has until he gives me an issue.
Well, I'll tell you what. Your local dealer right now, he has an issue. Benny Brown.
Oh,
he's a local dude.
Who's that? The dude down at Manly? That's gone, or
no? Well, he is gone.
Yeah.
But Benny Brown, he's a Gravely man.
Yeah.
And his local dealer don't have Gravely no more.
Ain't no Gravely dealer.
So you'll be either switching shops or walking.
Or switching to Skag.
Yeah.
Anyway, for Whip, Hedger and Blower, they're doing great. I'll stick with Gravely, as it has never given me an issue in the 3 years, but I'm not sold on to a brand. So.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Okay, Newcastle Property Lawn and Maintenance. Shindewa for the win on the snipper. All Hedges. Honda for self-propelled and Skag for ride-ons. All pretty good brands there.
Yeah.
And you can see he's kept all that uniform.
Yeah.
So that's working pretty well. Rubesies. I'm definitely brand loyal. However, I do keep an eye on companies that have a presence on this page, and there's some of that really go out. Some of them go out there and look after us. I think that's something to note as well.
Yeah.
PayPal.
Yeah. Well,
some
look
people
at
say.
Ego didn't have a presence in LMCA. All of a sudden they did, and their presence was solid.
Can I just say something? We know the brands that are really involved in the contractor market, but I want to say something. Can you imagine if Toro or Still or Husqvarna had the same presence in LMCA?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much fucking extra business they would get?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because it's not just they're not just selling to the 5,000 members of LMCA. They're not just catering to them. But
they're so fucking one-sided that's what they think.
Yeah.
5,000 members, who gives a fuck?
That 5,000, if they have a good experience with your tools, they're going to tell fucking another 50 people, and then it's a flow-on effect.
I think
it's like your business. Like you give people good service, it's a flow-on effect.
And I think that is, people say like, oh, why you got to be in your bonnet about certain brands, Cub, Husky, Still, Toro, Honda, whatever it is. And it's for that reason, because they fucking discredit community pages like LMCA and everything that I believe in.
Yeah.
And that's where your bush rangers, your egos, your skags, your rights, like Cox, all of these people, that's where they are like, we are for the people.
Yeah, it's like they just brought in their product and they're like, fucking, here it is, buy it. And then they're like, that'll do.
Well, look, I understand that. It's just, and don't forget, LMCA is a minority in terms of, what is out there. But the fact that they discredit it for being a minority is just like, man, fuck you.
Yeah, and plus, times are changing. Like, these groups are where it's at. Like, you've got, even your Lawn Fanatics pages are fucking going berserk. Like, that's got, 80,000 members. And
more, it had 80,000 like 6 months ago.
Yeah, well, then there's like all the, there's products on there that get thrown around, and never have I seen like, fucking Husky or Still or anything like that. So, it's bizarre. They just don't take their opportunities.
Yep. Mick Brady, we have 2 mower dealers in our town. Still dealer is hands down better service and support than our Husky dealer. I do love my Still gear, but then I have a Walker and a Skag to complement each other. Walker for nice maintained lawns, Skag Stander for the shit tough stuff because it's built for it. For me, it's more about the dealer than the brand. Without great customer service and busy times when broken down, it can cost thousands of downtime. I value service more than the brand. He says that, but you know, he's definitely like he's hit it on the you know, when people, I think anytime anyone compares a Walker to any other brand, I'm like, dude, it's not the same market.
Yeah.
But when you sit there and say, okay, I have a Walker for all my beautiful stuff, because even you as a Skag guy, you know.
Well, it's a catching unit, like it's.
But the floating deck and everything, like you can do a fucking mint job with the Skag.
Yeah.
But you can just about do the sexiest job that is possible with a Walker, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's vacuuming, so you get like an added with the Skag, and like as good as the Catch Pro is,
it's not a walk and catcher system.
Yeah,
we all know that. So I think he's done a good job with explaining that. Tom Mort says the real question is what brands do you stay away from, and what products from each brand do you avoid? I love this. We're getting really on in the podcast.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, is there any brand that has a pig of a machine that you can think of?
Wow. Fuck.
I just want to put it out there that I think
shit, here we go.
Honda handhelds.
Yeah.
I think they're pigs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not around anymore, but the old still backpack blowers, I just thought were pieces of shit.
Yeah.
I just thought they were so whack compared to the Shindevas at the time.
I'm trying to think of something.
Nothing else sticks out to me too much in terms of which brand. I think these days, as much as we talk shit about certain brands, I do think
there's something out there for everyone.
Yeah, you know, like
because like I was going to say Cub Cadet for their Ultima. That fucking just looking at it makes me fucking my asshole is sad.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the price range, I believe that there's other.
Yeah.
The mower might be fine. It's the deck that I don't like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, Cub still has. Yeah. They still have something to offer. But that's a funny one. I wish that comment had come up a little earlier when we just had a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Sam Gunn pretty much just used the Zito for everything. There is more to this.
I was going to say.
I'm just hoping there's a joke. Going to Bunnings with the misso. Shout her a pot plant. She could slowly neglect and watch die while I grab the battery whipper and mower off the shelf. Lasts me about 2 days before I have burned out the batteries. Okay, here we go. The Green Shed gives me a replacement warranty of 5 years. They don't realise I'm using it for commercial use and let me replace it, no questions asked. The feeling you get off new gear every day is like a breath of fresh air. My relationship with Bunnings is second to none. My willy stinks.
Oh. That's my favourite comment of the whole thread. My willy stinks.
Yeah, so I have to agree with the Bunnings thing. Like, if you grab something from there and it fails,
if you fuck up and use a Power Pass card though.
No, you can't. Yeah, so don't do that.
Yeah, don't get your discount because you're
Don't get your discount.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's kind of half joking.
Yeah.
In that. So JT,
as far as my petrol gear goes, whenever my local dealer is, whatever my local dealer is stocking for the local support, if it needs work done on it, for the battery gear, I find Ego and Makita have me covered. Plus, I don't want to invest in too many battery types. Fair enough.
Awesome stuff.
I found.
Okay, we have Drew. He commented. It's actually Andrew Frenchie, but he doesn't like to be called that.
No.
I don't know why you don't want to be called Frenchie.
Yeah, Frenchie's awesome.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I like to stick to one brand for two certain things. But if I find something that I like in a completely different brand and it works for me well, then I'm going to use it. I also look at dealer support and how readily available spare parts are. So that's pretty clever, I think. Gary Ashton.
Oh, yes, sir.
How many times is brand loyalty because we understand the brand well and the brand has provided the best of the best compared to those who are possibly loyal out of ignorance? And I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
you know, you're brand loyal to Skag because they can really give you, like, they're in their lineup. You know, you've got your 32, you have your 48, you've now got a 61. They kind of have, they can fulfill the things that you need. Handhelds, you have been a little different.
That's it. I can play the field. And
don't get me wrong, you got to admit that, you know, like, you probably got a Bush Ranger because of me.
Yeah.
Only in the sense that...
It influenced me then.
But then you probably got your Husky because of others.
Yeah.
You know?
Because of... Yeah, I've just...
You definitely got your ego because of me.
Yeah, I did.
I'm not talking about your, like, ego. I'm talking about your ego snipper.
No, my ego snipper, yeah, I did. You came out high on Oxy. You're like, I just want to cuddle.
Don't tell everyone I was high.
You weren't high, but you were fucking cooked.
I just wanted to cuddle.
You just wanted to cuddle, and you wanted me to try your new stepper. So, I went out and got one. But yeah.
Valid comment.
Valid comment.
No.
Oh, you mean his or
yeah.
No, it's one of those things. Like, I was influenced by people who were having just giving you good feedback. So,
I mean, I think the same is like, you know, for workwear. You know, fucking how many people have bought bad workwear because we've told them that it's good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same thing. Like, if we weren't here to tell them that, hey, we think this is good workwear, then how would you know that it exists?
That's it. And I have to admit, like, I wear something from Bad every day now.
Well, it's just getting too much for me.
I've got every one of those shirts.
I wore some Bad workwear on a scooter ride with my kids on the weekend.
I'm wearing a Bad workwear hat right now, aren't I? Yep.
Wait, everything.
I got
my boots, my socks, my jeans, my shirt.
Yeah.
Not wearing the undies today.
Socks are good too. I can attest to that. They're good.
Good bamboo.
Yeah, fucking bamboo ones.
Just make sure when you put them in the dryer, you just make sure that they're not folded in any way because they will take ages to dry.
Such a piece of shit for that.
Patrick, turns out I'm loyal to Greenfield so far for ride-on tractors. That's because it's Aussie. It's Aussie and the engineering is simple but effective. Can't justify a big old ZT yet. Husky have been sick for hedges, pole saws, edger and whippersnipper after Honda Versatile, not looking back.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Fuck yeah.
Do you mind taking over for a second?
I don't think I saw it. I don't think any saw. I know, I was reading it right. Saw like a fucking chopping saw. What a dick face I am. Is as good as a Silky, and secateurs should be at least as good as Okasune. Wolfgarten 6, sturdy, good quality, 25-year warranty.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and they're all available in Bunnings now apparently. So I'm fairly loyal to the GXV 162 as it's in on most of my mowers. I think that is a fucking good fucking engine. Like, it's on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I suppose after typing all this, it comes down to reliability and performance to me. They're all tried and tested, and being a sole trader, I don't have the money to waste on shit gear. That's very true.
Yeah, and I think people should, you know, be aware of that as well. Like, these days, I do think more money is being spent on equipment.
Yeah.
Just because someone else has it.
Well, there's lots of options too, like finance options, even with hand tools and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
if you spend over a certain amount, you can...
You know, but just in saying that, I think you always got to go back to your due diligence.
Yeah, 100%. But you know what? There are some occasions where something will get fucked up in the processing of building that machine. It'll go all the way through to your customer, and then they'll have something fucking completely shit itself. And
with a piece of machinery, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, I've had certain chainsaws and stuff that I swear from day one have just something along the line somewhere, something went wrong.
Yeah.
And it wasn't picked up on, and whatever. Nurtured Lawns, for battery gear, I use both Still and Husky. Gives me the option to pick the best products from 2 leading brands. If you use one brand, you need to accept their entire product range. No brand has the best option in every product range. Still has great range with their new 135 line, and Husky hedges best in their market. other than Pelink. There is no double up of batteries, as you would buy the batteries required for the work that you do with the product, and 2 charges is better than 1. In saying that, there will be so much new product over the next couple of years. You have to keep an open mind and be on the lookout for new gear that will improve your operation. I'm not brand loyal. I'll happily switch to better gear, and dealers can make it difficult. Dealers can make it difficult to feel loyalty, and I believe that too.
Yeah.
So we're probably getting a lot of like-minded comments
Pretty
now.
much,
So we'll just go through them. Grant Osborne, brand loyalty goes both ways, with dealer and distributors being trader orientated at one point in time over the last 24 years to where their parts supply is crap, or they are reducing models availability. Progression of 23 years of Walkers to diesel, Honda push mowers and snippers, Rover as dedicated mulch, Red Max for hedges and snippers, AEG Makita for battery gear, slashing and unclean cuts, from various heads for snippers to Billy Goat, walk behind, slasher today, Razorback as technology improves. That's a lot of brands there. Thomas Hegarty, haven't heard from him in a while. All my battery equipment is Makita and will stay that way. Well done. Ori?
No brand loyalty from me. I'm running Skag, still Milwaukee currently, as they are the leaders in their field. But if another brand like Ferris came out with a better stand on, I'd be all over it. Same with Steel versus Echo or Husky, or Milwaukee versus DeWalt, Makita, etc. Sweet.
Yeah, so
that's good. People
it's tough these days.
Yeah.
It is. It really is tough, because you've got power tool brands that are coming out with outdoor power equipment, which has some credibility. I don't believe any of that is ever going to be as good as, say, an Ego or a Still.
They're dedicated to OPE.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of things, you've got standalone brands like Pelink and Ego.
Yeah.
Not only are they outdoor power equipment brands, but they're just battery outdoor power equipment
I just
brands.
had my first look at the Pelink gear. Fucking, it's pretty
gangster.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Shit.
So, Mick Carroll, brand loyal and dealer loyal. Love you, Joseph Dunn.
Oh,
Sylvie's mowing.
that's cute.
Thomas, brand loyalty. Never heard of her. Petrol helds are mostly Honda as well, mainly because already had a UMK before starting out, but I'm also running a GX 35 Adam Makita. Battery gear, I'm running Ego, and ride-ons I use Rover, Husky and Dixon. That's probably something that you should probably keep an open mind with.
Yeah.
With the mowers starting out, I went straight for the default contractor option, which is the Honda 216.
Yeah.
Now, I love that comment, because that sort of goes back, to what I was saying.
Yeah.
That 10, 15 years ago,
You're looking at what fucking Fred down the road is using. That's what I did. Like, I went.
No, but a contractor, like you literally, like if you were becoming a contractor, you've got a Honda.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Honda.
That's what I mean. But now you've got, and don't get me wrong, Rover and that were around, but now you have your Bush Rangers, you have your Toros, you have, there's other.
And there's options. There's with and without blade brakes. There's fucking, self-propel. There's, there's always been self-propel, but, there's self-propel, there's push, there's multiple, there's lineups now, not just one product. So.
Marcus Gilmore says, I think with Corona, that brand loyalty isn't important now. More like loyalty to your shop.
Yeah, fair call.
Man, Rona, like seriously, if you were a Toro or a Deer guy, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. And even Skag.
Yeah, there was a bit there was a breakdown. It's a lot better than it was, I'll fucking tell you that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'll just give everyone a quick example. When coronavirus and all the supply started to hit big time, Bush Ranger just brought in like so many Spartans.
Yeah.
And you saw new dealers popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
With Spartans. 8 months down the track, there is no more Spartans. And you actually see some of these dealers, no, we don't do Spartan anymore.
Yeah.
Because they can't get any Spartans. And you got brands like Skag and, you know, some other brands now that are coming up that had their period.
Yeah. That's why there's always going to be movement in the industry, which is kind of cool.
Ollie, I'm definitely not brand loyal, just whatever suits the business the best. Been using Honda since the start and will never change. He's not brand loyal, but he'll never change for Honda.
Goddamn.
When clearly Honda quality has diminished and other brands have caught up or taken over. Honda since the start will never change and will never change. When clearly Honda's quality has diminished.
Maybe
am I reading this wrong?
Maybe you missed a word.
Okay. We're just going to leave that one there. Sorry, Ollie.
Brendan Clark, yes, the best brand is to keep your own personal brand. Keep your standards high as people work with people they like and trust.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Paul Luck comes back. The thing is, technology and products are always changing. One brand may be the best for a while, then a competitor comes out with a game changer. Things are especially changing fast in the battery market. It pays to keep up with what all brands are doing rather than blindly just sticking to one out of loyalty. Can't agree anymore in today's world. I think it's super, super relative.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all those people running those 30-inch Toros. You know, you got the Skag, then all of a sudden the battery one's going to come out. Then you can get front casters.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, the machines are just no longer comparable.
Yeah.
Taz, try to stay the same dealer for as much of my gear as possible. Other than that, I go between dealers in my area, still in Husqvarna and Bush Ranger all the way. Love the podcast. Love you, Taz.
Yeah.
Jamie, why? Jamie, why not?
The questions are endless. I've run Bush Ranger, Still, Echo, Shindawa, and Husky, and have found Husky to be the best value for money. Never had one fail or breakdown versus the other brands. Parts are more available and give the best anti-vibes, so you don't have carpal tunnel at the end of the day. I've also found the Kawasaki handles the best in the market. Compared with the Whipper Gripper and Darwin's grips.
Oh, that's blasphemy.
Oh my god. Also run WA made MoMaster, turf equipment from Luke Harrison, edges and cylinder mowers, Renault gear, etc.
Yeah, so interesting comment about the Kawasaki handle, because we've seen it a million times, and I think they're a discontinued one, so they're like a hot item.
Suck your dick for a Kawasaki handle, man.
People have said that to me about Darwin grips and Whipper grippers.
Yeah, well.
Each to their own, so I'm not tripping on that. Shannon Wall, I like to stick to one brand. Once you find a brand you like and performs well, I think it's best to stick to it. Only time we have changed is when we are not happy with a new range that comes out, parts or product stock issues. When Still was having a battery stock, we nearly bought a second brand as we needed batteries. We switched from Gravely to Wright as I wasn't overly happy with the performance of the Pro Stance when mulching, so thought it was good time to try the Wrights. Yeah, I mean, fair comment. Yeah. Like, if a brand isn't performing and there is others out there, then go for it.
Yeah.
Tate, I'm only new to the game, but I think brand loyalty does play a part, but it's also about finding your best equipment for the task that you're undertaking. I would like to stick to one brand where possible, but there's no doubt some brands excel above others in different areas. As an example, I just bought a Husky pole hedger after going all out ego. It's really due to there being so much positive feedback on LMCA about the Husky battery gear for hedging in particular. But brand loyalty can only go so far if the manufacturer doesn't stand behind their equipment in regards to warranty and repair for their products. I'll be ready to jump ship at any moment. As a commercial operator, you don't have time for equipment failures, and if these companies don't step up to address these issues, people will leave as quickly as they jumped on board. At the end of the day, we need to make money and be confident in the equipment we are using, especially in the battery market. You can't afford to be replacing them every several months at hundreds of dollars a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty detailed comment, but totally understand. I think, you know, if the warranties and service and after sales support and all of that is there, then you should be rewarding them with brand loyalty.
Yeah.
Andy says, sure, I changed my oil, but not my brand of oil. It's different brands for different things for me. It's a visual war out there. Brand recognition is huge. Ever noticed how from a distance you can quite often tell what brand a machine is by the colour alone? It probably dates back to the battlefields when the colours you wore had to be easily recognised so you didn't kill the wrong person. This is actually the last comment, I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Right now we're Ferris Cox, Shindy, Honda, Husky and Ego chainsaws. Was going to purchase a Grillo or that other ugly hill climber that's red and yellow, but couldn't do either because the colour branding doesn't fit my psyche. Yeah, I mean...
So some people do literally just fucking pick their machines because of the colour.
Because of the colour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean...
There's been a couple of little comments.
You got to be honest. Everyone has to be fucking honest, right? If Still changed from orange to pink, do you think that brand would be as successful as it was?
I think the first 6 to 12 months it would be, because it would be like a bit of a talking point, a bit of a gimmick. But then I think...
Well, let's say if Still, they were never orange, they were just pink.
Yeah.
Do you really think... And I don't care about all the sexist bullshit that might come back for this. I mean, anyone can choose whatever colour. But pink is generally known as a girl's colour, right?
Yeah.
And in an industry that we probably have about 70% males.
I think you're right, man. I don't think it'd go down too well. But there was a comment that was on a different thread, which was mine, I posted last night, about there's actually no like whippersnippers and things like that with women in mind. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that might be something we might get a couple of ladies in or something like that who are into the industry, or do a Zoom or something.
I'm pretty sure that'll never happen, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Fucking whatever.
Ain't no lady coming in here.
Yeah, well, poor Vic.
I could try and get her in here.
Yeah. No, well, maybe we could try and get the ladies in here, like my wife and your wife. They'd never do it.
Nah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But it's just the same as like.
I just don't think...
If I painted the Catch Pros poo-coloured brown and was like, fuck yeah, check out my new product.
Unless you got a grasshopper.
That's what I mean too, like...
Yeah, I think the branding is very important. I think the colours are important.
And I'm telling you now...
Like look at how much you love yellow stuff. So...
Yeah. I mean, these brands have whole departments dedicated to color coordination and styling.
Yeah.
Like it's honestly, it's just a common thing. Like if a Spartan
that would
machine...
actually be a pretty cool job.
It would be, but if a Spartan was painted red like a Toro, I just don't think that they'd be as successful.
No, I don't think so.
I really just don't.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason why you see evolution in brands.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was that started blacking out machines, but now you got several brands doing it.
Yeah, I like it.
And, like you got several brands doing it because they're making the machines look better than what they did before.
Yeah.
I guess it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been a huge episode.
Gigantic. My bumhole is numb.
And we want to thank everyone that contributed to this.
Awesome.
We are, after today's episode, we will be on a 2-week hiatus.
Yep.
Unless BJ happens to shoot something and upload it while he's away.
It's a lot of work for doing it on the road, but maybe it'll be there for like a bonus episode or something.
That's it. And remember to use the code SKULL on the Bad Workwear website.
And the Muscle Beard Australia website.
Thank you to all the brands that do support us, like Bad Muscle Beard, Ego Skag, Bush Ranger, etc. Until next time, I'm at Catch Pro. He is at TBL. We are out of time.
Peace.